I'm Dr. Warren Peters, and I'm here to help you again to be your very own best health executive. So, as an executive, you always want to start with an assessment. You need to know what is actually there. But this is almost like a mirror, it's a conversation. There is no right, there is no wrong. It's just, where are you? And as we look at these steps, look at these assessments, um, go ahead and think about it. Where do I actually stand? So maybe let's start with maybe daily energy. Sounds like a good place to start, doesn't it? And maybe we want to know a little bit about our mood patterns. And just think about this for a minute. Ask yourself when you feel most alert. So let's just take an average day. And in that average day, when you feel foggy or low, what tends to lift your mood? That's a good question. What tends to lift your mood? And what tends to drain it? Now, go ahead and take maybe 10 or 15 minutes, just kind of reflect and get out a piece of paper or use your computer or your pad or your phone and just write down, or nowadays you could just talk to your phone and it'll transcribe the words for you. But think about this daily energy, the moods and the patterns in the day. When do you feel most alive? When in the day do you feel foggy or low? And then, most of all, what lifts your mood and what drains it? These reflections will be very important as you start to think about, as the executive of your own health, what is my next step? So let's start with that one. Now, the next one we want to look at is actually coming to one of these important, very important areas, and that is your sleep routine. So in the sleep routine, we want to ask just a few questions. So I'm not asking the questions. Remember, you're the executive. So I'm prompting you to ask the questions as the executive. And you might actually say, how rested you feel in the morning? So in the morning time, do you just wake up alive and ready to roll? Think about that rest. And then how consistent your sleep schedule. Do you sleep 4 hours one night, 7 hours the next night, 10 hours the next? What is your pattern? What is the pattern of sleep? And whether you wake up refreshed or sluggish. Now, take some time. You're going to spend 10, 15 minutes kind of reflecting on this. The reason why the sleep is so important is many times you've heard about lymphatics. We have lymphatics in our arms and legs and face and so on. Sometimes lymphatics get blocked and we get swollen legs and so on. But in our brain, we have a very similar system called glymphatics. And this is a very special, separate system that during the night, this lymphatic-like process cleans out the toxins, cleans out the cells that need to be disposed of, and cleans house. And that's why this sleep is very, very critical. And it's consistency, 7 to 9 hours. Well, that's a little preachy, isn't it? But you're going to reflect on your own pattern and how this really responds to you. How does your sleep look? And so our next area, we're going to actually look to movement and activity and be very clear on this. You're the executive. You want honest answers. Don't say what you wish you could do, or I generally do, or whatever. You need clarity. You need very, very specific answer. You're the executive. You don't want somebody trying to please you or trying to hide the truth. You need the truth. to be the executive. So when you think about this, how often do you move your body? I mean, any movement, sitting, standing, walking, crawling. No, I guess you don't crawl. Maybe swimming, maybe bicycling, maybe whatever. So just think about in a day's activity, how much time you sit, stand, walk, move, exercise. It's amazing. We're actually calling that sitting is the new smoking. And so many of us actually have desks now that can stand up, so we can work standing up, we can work sitting down. That's not practical for everybody. Or maybe you're not at work and maybe you're at home. But almost just take an assessment right now how often you move your body. Then what kinds of activities you actually enjoy. Think about it. So if you were to move, if you were to exercise, what brings you pleasure? Sometimes when I watch some of these people jogging, their faces don't look very pleasurable. They look like they're suffering, and maybe if they want to suffer, but find something. What kind of movement, body movement, would you most enjoy? Then what feels easy versus what feels difficult. So in the movement area in brain health, this is amazingly important because we actually can make new brain cells, even after the age of 55, in certain areas of our brain with exercise. Light weights can work as well. But as you reflect upon this, talk to your phone, write it down, with pen and paper if you like, but spend some time honestly. Every executive wants to know, what is the baseline? What is the baseline? So then we come to the next area that we ought to pay some attention to, and it's actually a good one. It's the social connections. Now, loneliness is an epidemic in this. This is amazing because we're just connected all over the place, with our phones, with the TV, we seem connected, but are you really connected? So here's some thoughts that you can write down now, assessing yourself. So who you talk to regularly. Who you talk to regularly. Then from that talking, also the next question is how often you actually feel connected in that conversation, whether it's work or pleasure or sports or whatever. How connected do you feel in that interchange? Is there anything that is emotionally beneficial in that conversation? And then whether you have people you enjoy spending time with. Now, that's a very important personality assessment. Some people need people. Other people don't need people. So be very careful as you look at yourself, not just 55 and above, but look back at your previous historical picture. Are you someone that needs people, or are you kind of an internal person where you like people, but you don't need people? So kind of look at that a little bit. But the social connection is huge. When we look at those individuals that are preventing Alzheimer's disease, the neurodegenerative diseases, this connectivity issue is critical, even for those of us that have some mild cognitive impairment. That social contact is critical. So there you got a little lecture on the side, but this is all about you. You are your own executive. So then we kind of come down to this area of mental stimulation and what actually challenges your mind. So take a little time, maybe 10, 15 minutes, and just reflect on this. What challenges your mind? Is it reading? Is it studying? Is it thinking? What challenges your mind? Is it to be quiet? Is it to be meditative? Is it to kind of be aware of the world around you? What brings you, what actually challenges your mind? And then what you enjoy learning. I mean, we're all very, very different. And so somebody might want to learn about a bird or learn about a molecule or learn about history or learn about whatever, or learn what makes a partner happy. So all of those things are the things that we begin to look at. So you might even consider what hobbies keep you curious. What hobbies? Now we call it hobby. So we think, is that making airplanes, or is that, hobbies are just that. They can be almost anything, something that you really enjoy, and it's brought you pleasure and will continue to bring you pleasure. Highlight those, because again, as your own health executive, you're determining what works best for you. So then we know that the brain loves novelty and challenge. And I'd put a little star there and say, what's something that I would really like to learn that I don't know anything about? And now we have so many vehicles. We have all of our Chat GPT and our co-pilots and our Gemini. We have all this electronic cloud access, artificial intelligence, that you have answers now. You don't have to go to an encyclopedia. You can actually find it very, very quickly just by using your phone or using your computer. Now let's go on down to the stress patterns. And this is kind of getting into a very deep assessment, because sometimes we kind of ignore or bypass, because it's difficult, what actually would bring us the stress and what we can do about it. So explore for yourself as your executive what stress feels like for you. Do you get a headache? Do you get a stiff neck? Do you get stiff shoulders? Do you get stomach pain? Do you get tingling in your feet? Do you just feel distress? How does your body talk to you? We all kind of know how anger feels. It kind of gets that hot, warm feeling that comes out from our belly up into our chest. We kind of know what that is. Maybe you're driving on the freeway, but begin to look at what are the signals? What should you pay attention to? Because that stress is not good for your brain. So the stress produces a whole cascade of hormones, and we'll just kind of center on cortisol for a moment. So those hormones can be very useful when we need to really run fast to get away from some danger. But if we just stew all day long in a stew of cortisol, that is very bad. You need to know what the signal is, where you know you need to step back and found a way to unwind. So when you unwind, what can you do? Well, we can't all just hang out in a spa sometime, but we can always do what we kind of call, we could call it 4-1-5, 4-1-5. And just right away, it's a deep breath in through our nose, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a little deeper, 1, and then 1, 2, 3, out through our mouth, breathing out for 5. So the 4-1-5. So the 4 is in through our nostrils. A little extra is that 1, and then the 5 breaths that go out through our mouth. You can do that in 3 seconds. And that may be if you notice that first of all, as your executive, you need to know the symptom. When you feel the symptom, the flag, then find steps that can help you. And then think about how often you feel just overwhelmed versus steady as a rock, where nothing is going to phase you, just cruise on. Or, how often do I feel like there's no hope? There's no hope. Assess this, because without the assessment as the health executive, because as your health executive, you're going to start making decisions. So decisions come after assessment. You have to know where we're starting from. So that is so, so important here. So chronic stress affects memory more than most of us realize. Stewing in cortisol, stewing in the hormone adrenaline is very, very unhealthy. So in the assessment, this is where the phase we're in right now, look at it very carefully. Then we kind of come down to the next one and our last one, and that is your hope for the next decade. Decade, you heard it, it's a decade. So this is a long range, but you're the health executive. Now it's important, you're going to plan for tomorrow, but also we need to think about the next decade, 10 years. So when we look back 10 years, and then we look where we are today, and then when we look forward 10 years, this is a critical time frame. We must begin to start thinking about, how do I get to 10 years? We take today. Today is the day. Tomorrow will be today, tomorrow. And so this is where we begin to assess the long, long range. You've probably heard the adage, when do I start making changes? And the very best would have been 20 years ago. But maybe the second best is now. So as your health executive, stay with it. Look at these very, very carefully, and we'll see you next time.